Boom. What is up, guys? In this tutorial series, we are going to learn SQL. And in particular, we're going to be using MySQL or MySQL to do so. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to install MySQL on your computer and then briefly what MySQL is. First and foremost, if you're on a Windows, you guys can go ahead and go to dev.mysql.com/downloads/installer, and you can go ahead and select what version you need from this page right here. If you're on a Mac like me, you can go ahead and type brew install MySQL. And if you are also on a Linux-based machine, you probably need to type something like sudo apt-get MySQL. So once that's finished installing, you should get something like this. We've installed MySQL database without a root password. To secure it, run MySQL secure installation. We're going to go over that later, but just to confirm that you actually have MySQL installed, you can go ahead in your terminal, type MySQL space dash version, and it should give you a message that looks something like this. If you don't get this message and you're on a Mac, then it didn't install correctly. So back into the meat and potatoes of all of this. What is MySQL? MySQL apparently is the world's most popular open source SQL database management system. It's developed, distributed by Oracle. MySQL is a database management system, so it's not just the SQL language itself, it's the whole system and structure for the management of a database. I'm going to skip some of the stuff that this page says right here, and I want you guys to note that the SQL part of MySQL stands for structured query language. And that's what the whole point of this tutorial series is to show you guys what SQL is and how to use it. Majority of cases, syntax in almost all SQL languages are pretty much identical. The only differences you're going to get between one flavor of SQL and the other is what type of predefined functionalities that you can do. And in most cases, these are all the same too. Different functions might just have different names. I know that, for example, in Oracle SQL, there's a function called coalesce, and in Microsoft SQL or Microsoft SQL Server, the function does the exact same thing, but it's just called a different name. I don't remember what the name is called, but you get my point. And I shouldn't assume that you guys already know what a database is. A database is a structured collection of data. And the whole point of this, guys, is that if you have a bunch of data stored somewhere on a computer, on a server somewhere, for anything, the means of which we need to communicate with that data, whether it's one, to look at data, or two, to update, manipulate, add, delete data. And we use the SQL programming language as that means to do so. But what exactly is a database? A database is a structured collection of data. It may be anything from a simple shopping list to a picture gallery of vast amounts of information in a corporate network. You guys get the point. To put this into perspective, why is this important? Well, any type of software that is going to require data, which in the real world is a lot, almost maybe like 80-90% of software, you're going to have a database. And in order to accommodate for that database, in order to use that database, you're going to have to use SQL. An example of this would be if you are a car manufacturer or you are a car dealership and your software, your website for where you go and post new pictures of the cars that come in, you remove pictures of the cars that are sold, you're going to need to have a database in order to keep record of this information. If you are a bank and you need to keep track of the funds in all 100,000 of your customers' bank accounts, you're going to need a database. And that is exactly the point of a database in relation to software. And the point of SQL is that it allows us to go ahead and communicate with said database. All right, that's all for this tutorial video, guys. In the next one, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to get all this started and to start typing some code in MySQL.